Welcome. I'm now going to continue my supervised agriculture experience waiver forms that students in an agriculture experience program need to fill out. I'm actually moving on to the third form now. I've actually, in the PowerPoint that's been provided to you, have gone over the first page of both the unpaid waiver form and the 14-year-old/15-year-old form. Moving on, now we're going to do the form that's used for 16 and 17-year-olds. So you have this PowerPoint, and again, you have a link that is in here to the SAE placement manual. You hover over it with your hand. When the arrow turns to a hand, you click it, and it will bring you right to the manual. Once you've arrived, scroll down to page 10. And you will find those three possibilities of the waivers that you choose. LED 75-1 is the form that you choose if you are 16 years old or older. So we are going to click on this form, and we're going to focus on the first page of the form. And again, you can save this form to your computer and work on it and come back to it at a later date if you don't have time to finish it in one sitting. So if you're not sure and you're like, LED 75-1, is that the right form? You can look at the top here. It even says your age, 16 and 17 years old. Now for some basic information. And some of it is self-explanatory and some things may be unclear, and I will go over that with you. Student name. This is where you're going to put in your name, Lori Trovato, that's my name, my address, my city, my zip code, school name. Where do I go to school? Just type that in. If you're not sure of the school's address, go online. It's right there in the website. You put the school's city and the zip code. And now work site name. So this is where you're working. So I'm going to be working at a flower shop. So I'm going to put in Sally's Flower Barn. Okay. Work site address. We put in the address of Sally's Flower Barn, the city, and the zip code. Mentor name. You might be saying, well, what does that mean? Who is my mentor? The mentor is the person that oversees what you're doing on a daily basis. Every single day when you go to work, who is telling you what tasks to do? And so I'm going to say Sally Smith is the owner and Sally is my mentor. So Sally Smith is the person who's overseeing what I'm doing. You put in their email address and their phone number. Now, work site title. This is what's your job title. What are you doing there? I'm a flower clerk. So I'm going to put flower clerk. Or you might be a flower designer. All depends. So you ask your boss, what exactly is my title? And now, I've gone over this in the other tutorials, but this is important, so I'm going to repeat myself. The end date of this waiver, once it is received and approved by the Department of Labor and the State Department of Education, there is an end date, and we put this end date in now, and that determines by the date of, say, either May 1st or before May 1st. Let me explain. So we filled out this form and we filled it out on May 1st and everything was signed on May 1st or after. This form is now good. Say it's May 1st, 2015. It is now good through September 30th, 2016. If you filled the form out before May 1st, it is only good until the same year. For example, if on April 1st, 2015, you got a new job, a potential new job that you need to be approved by the State Department of Education and Labor, you would fill this information out, and that would only be good until the same year. If you're getting confused, you're not sure, or you forget what I just told you, you go back to the SAE placement manual on page 10, and there will be samples right there. So I'm going to scroll down and I'll show you that. On page 10, right here, all waivers have a September 30th end date, and they give you an example. Unpaid waivers received on this date. It will have an end date of the same year. But if it's received May 1st, that is the magic number. Remember that, May 1st or after. Then your end date is good until the following year. So you have about a year and a half to do that. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Okay, so let's get back to the first page of the form that's for 16 and 17-year-olds. Now, starting wage. This is very important. You must, and I repeat, you must get paid Connecticut minimum wage, which currently in the year 2015 is $9.15 an hour. Next year, that goes up as of January 1st. Make sure you are aware of this. People who employ you must pay you minimum wage. There is one exception. If you're in an agriculture-specific production facility, you may get the first 200 hours of your work can be 85% of minimum wage, but only for the first 200 hours. Then you must get $9.15 an hour minimum, and that goes up next year. So you must be aware of this. Now, career pathway pre-apprentice card. If you were working at a site, for example, if you were in an ag mechanics program and you were, say, learning about electrical and you actually were getting your pre-apprenticeship, this is when this would come in place here. If you're in a career technical education program where you're actually going to start earning hour credits, and your teacher can tell you if this applies to you or not, you would put yes or no. In my case, it's not even applicable. I'm just working in a flower shop. I'm not getting anything. Power equipment used. Now, again, depending on your job site, I may use certain tools. For example, say I was at a woodworking shop and I was going to use a bandsaw. I wanted to put that down and ask the State Department of Labor and Education to approve that. I would hit yes, and then when I got to my universal structured learning plan, I would then list all the tools in there. I'd say bandsaw. But in this case, I'm not. I'm working in a flower shop. I'm taking care of flowers and I'm making pretty flower arrangements. That's not applicable. So I would then take this and go NA, not applicable. Doesn't apply. Next step, career pathway program coordinator name. This is usually your teacher, but it may be a SAE advisor or coordinator. Ask your teacher. They will be able to tell you if they are indeed the coordinator. In many schools, this is indeed your teacher that you have on an everyday basis. You put their name there, their email address, and their phone number. Administrator name. This next line is either for the department head, as long as it's been approved by the principal that the department head can sign off. Sometimes it is the principal. It's not your teacher that's your direct person, but it can indeed be the department head or another individual in the school that's been assigned to oversee the supervised agriculture experience program. We'll pretend that Sarah Smith is the department head, and we put title department head. And again, your teacher will be able to tell you whose name goes there. And then you put their phone number. Underneath that, they will sign. Then you will sign your name. Now comes to parent or guardian. You need to print in their name. So I'll say, let's see, my father's name is Antonio. And then you would put their phone number and they would sign. You don't need both parents' signatures here, just one or the other, or one or the other of your guardians. Student pathways supervisor name. Again, this may be the same person as the coordinator that you listed above. Your teacher or an actual advisor that's assigned to you as SAE coordinator. Ask your teacher, they'll be able to tell you who that is. Sometimes in the summertime, you will have a different person that comes to visit you instead of your teacher, and then you would leave this box blank and put that new person's name in there. If your teacher's the person that comes to see you in the summer, click the box, and you're all set, and you're ready to go. Summer Career Pathway Supervisor signature, you need to put their signature in this box, this little green box. Worksite mentor signature. That's the person that we named up above. That's the person that you go every day to work and they look after what you're doing on the job site. So Sally Smith would sign down below here. These last two lines, you don't touch them. They actually get signed by the Department of Education. We will be sending this form out once it's complete to the Department of Education for their signatures. And once that is signed and it's back inside your school records, you can go to work. So that's the end of the first page of the 16 and 17-year-old form for a paid waiver for the Department of Education and the Department of Labor. Stay tuned for the next video where we are going to go over this universal structured work-based learning plan, which all three of the waivers use the same plan, whether you're an unpaid waiver, you're a paid for a 14 or 15-year-old, or you're a paid for a 16 or 17-year-old. This form is used for all three, and it's the same form. It does not change. So stay tuned, and thank you.